My name is Christopher Xu, and this is my program code for my midterm project. So in the first line of our code, we include the preprocessor directive IO stream. This is part of the input-output stream library and allows us to use objects such as cin for getting input from the user and cout for displaying output. Next, we have another preprocessor directive, including the header file iomanip. This, in essence, allows us to manipulate the input and output of our code. In this case, we'll be using iomanip to allow for set precision, which we'll be using to control how many digits are allowed past the decimal point, as well as fix, which, as its name suggests, allows us to, in essence, control our doubles to make sure they are only displayed in fixed point notation. Next, we have using namespace standard. This basically allows us to import the namespace library into the scope of our program. And what this does is allows us to use input and output objects such as cin and cout without having to use this prefix right here. So onto my code. Inside my main code, I initialize three values: balance, which represents our balance; the amount, which represents the amount of money we are going to withdraw; and choice. Our choice represents what sort of option we want, ranging from depositing money, withdrawing money, checking our balance, and exiting. It starts off as 0, as just a placeholder value. Next, we just have some aesthetic lines here, just saying what our code is used for as a simple bank system. Alright, next here is the main part of our code, a large while loop. And so while the choice does not equal 4, which basically means that we are not exiting our code, we will print out a menu of options. So what we print out is menu displaying all the options. So it prints out menu, colon, and then displays out 1 for depositing money, 2 for withdrawing money, 3 for checking balance, and 4 for exiting our program. Then we tell the user to enter their choice. And we store the value of their choice in the variable choice right here using cin. Now we move on to a switch function, which this makes choices based on what choice the user made. If the user chose 1, we ask them to enter a amount to deposit and store the user input in the amount variable. Next, we check if amount is greater than 0. If it is, we add that to the balance. Also, we format the output right here to be in fixed point notation and set precision here to set only 2 digits after the decimal point. After that, we just display the deposit was successful and display their new balance, whatever that might be. Else, if their amount is less than 0, we decide that is an invalid amount and we ask them to please enter a positive number. Then we break out of our switch statement in order to not accidentally run the other cases. Next, if they choose case 2, we ask the user to enter amount to withdraw and store that in the amount variable. If the amount is less than or equal to 0, obviously we display that the user has entered an invalid amount and that they should enter a positive number. Else, if the amount is bigger than the balance, we tell the user that they have insufficient funds. Their current balance is whatever the balance is currently, also displaying that in fixed point notation and with only 2 digits after the decimal point. Else, if the amount is bigger than 0 and less than or equal to their balance, all we do is subtract the amount from their balance, also format the output again in fixed point notation and 2-digit points after the decimal, and we say their withdrawal is successful and display their new balance. Next case, and the break function, obviously, as I said before, is designed to not run case 3 and 4 by accident and default by accident as well. And in case 3, we format the output with fixed notation and 2 digits after decimal point. All we do is display their current balance. So yeah, display your current balance is whatever it is. And in case 4, that prompts the user to exit the menu and display thank you for using the simple bank system and say goodbye. Now for our default value, this is basically as this is designed to catch errors such as if the user does not enter a number in the range of 1 and 4. We tell them they have an invalid choice and they must enter a number between 1 and 4. And we do not need to include the break here because there's nothing to run after that. And yeah, that is all of my code. We return 0 for a successful completion of our code. Here's our examples of my code running. Okay, we can test our default by hitting 0, and our code says invalid choice, just as we wanted. Time to deposit some money. We can deposit 100,000, I think. We can withdraw. If we decide to withdraw a large money bigger than our balance, we get an error, obviously. Now let's try again. This time we'll only draw $1,000 and it tells us where our balance is. Next, if we want to just check our balance again, we could enter that. 3, current balance is 99,000. And finally, we want to exit the loop, so we click 4 to exit. And yeah, that is all my code does. Thank you for listening.